gonna be exciting.
All right, it is time to go over my plus size readathon TBR that I will be tackling this month in April. If this is your first time hearing about the plus size readathon, it has been going on for a couple of years and it is run by Julie and Lexi, the hosts. And this year it'll be going from August 1st to August 31st. And there are 2 teams that you can join, and they have prompts for each of them. And I plan on doing both teams, but officially joining the Sour team, as Julie is the one who introduced me to the whole entire thing. So pretty excited to check that out. I will be going over the books that I have for every prompt, so we will review them in this video. And yeah, I'm super excited about it. There's also a weekly Instagram post prompt situation that you could do as well. I'll be doing that for the Sour team. And then there is also a giveaway for the group book, which both teams will be reading. So that's probably a good place for me to start. The group pick is My Kirby Rival by Leigh Karin. This is a romance novella of 2, I guess, rivals who fall for each other. It says here that jazz legend is fat, fit, and fabulous. She's a former ballet dancer who channels her love of dance and the joy of movement into her new size inclusive women's only gym. Oh, I bet you he has a gym. That's how they're rivals. Okay. The gym's called Fab Fitness. It's right down the street from Leo Foster's club. Nothing like a little competition to heat things up. Leo, a former hockey player and athletic trainer, has a different perspective on exercise. For him, it means discipline, hard work, and setting goals, not motivational slogans, provocative dance classes, and kumbaya. So when he discovers bright pink flyers advertising Fab Fitness scattered across his parking lot, he sets out to confront the new gym owner. Okay, obviously it's gonna get cute and sweet from there. I'm excited, interested in this. There is a giveaway for a signed copy of this, and I do think this might be a Kindle Unlimited, so you could participate and then sign up for the giveaway, but I wanted to support the author, and I love having the physical copies of things, so I ended up getting the physical, which wasn't expensive either, so check it out if you're interested. Okay, on to the prompts. So we're gonna start with the Sour team. So this is the team that I'm officially going to be a part of. Like I said, Julie is the host, and the first prompt, Unwrap Me, which is a book that you are intimidated by, I am going to go with one of the books that I ended up getting for my TBR game this month. You should check that out if you haven't already. There's a couple of picks from there, but there are some that you didn't see, so stay tuned. But I'm gonna go with Delicious Monsters by Leslie Sambury. I've enjoyed this author's writing in the past, and this is a pretty chunky horror novel that takes place between 2 timelines and 2 characters, one of which is supposed to be a plus size character. I know it's not a big part of the story, but I was told that that is in here and excited to check that out. As far as we're aware, we have a girl who sees dead people, and after a breakup, she ends up going to the summer town house that her family was in, and things get really weird and questionable things happen. And like a decade later, another girl ends up investigating that same house for her true crime podcast, and we are hearing the stories between both of them simultaneously. So we go back and forth to discover what actually happened, what's going on, and to uncover the things happen. I'm excited. I'm super excited for this, but it's a big boy. It's scary. I don't know how I'm gonna feel. I mean, like, not for it being scary, but like, it's gonna be a big buck. But it's right up my alley, so hopefully I have a good time. All right, then for our next prompt, which is Sour, Sweet Gone, short novella. I didn't write out the full prompts, but you can see them here. I don't have a ton of novellas. I have a couple. I did buy one just for this readathon, and I also got it as a TBR prompt. Gosh, I'm just gonna be spoiling all of the books that I got from that. There's a lot more, so you can still watch that video, but there's overlap. I ended up getting Bride of the Haunted Mower? What? Of the Haunted Manor, and this is a gothic romance novel. where the woman, I guess, ends up being a caretaker for a sprawling English estate, and she thought it was going to be pretty easy. But the Blackwood Manor harbors secrets wrapped in whispers and tragic romance. And her unique gift, which allows her to speak to spirits, she finds herself in love that transcends life and death. I don't know what that means and how I'm going to feel about it, but it's pretty short. And then on top of that, the words are pretty thick. So I feel like it's going to be a pretty quick read anyway. And I wanted a book that wasn't the typical cutesy romance because that's mostly what I'm finding. So I now have a horror and a gothic novella romance. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, then for Deja Vu, the second chance romance prompt, I actually ended up going with Can't Resist Her by Kiana Alexander. I was originally going to go with Before I Let Go, but I wasn't 100% sure if there is plus size rep in there. And so I decided to go with something that was a little bit more obvious for me. And yeah, this is a situation where we have one woman who's gone off, lived her life, and for some reason she comes back to her hometown and she sees that they are trying to like revitalize the neighborhood and they're going to tear down the school that her grandmother helped found. And so she's all like, "You're tearing down my family legacy. I'm not here for that." And the love interest is someone who's actually working on that project to revitalize the town. And she's really passionate about trying to do these things to improve the hometown of theirs. And so they end up butting heads once she comes back and tries to stop it. And they're rekindling a could have been romance that had started before she left. I guess their senior school dance or something like that. And so they're fighting with old feelings and new feelings along with this opposition of the project that is happening. So it sounds like it could be a fun one. And it is a sapphic romance featuring two Black characters. So I'm here for it. I definitely need more sapphic romances with people of color, specifically Black women. I need more Black women lesbian sapphic romance. I love how I just said lesbian twice. I need more Black sapphic romances in my life. I only have a small handful of them and I need so many more. So if you have suggestions, seriously, I would love to hear them. I've got like Outdrawn. I have the other book by Kiana Alexander, and I also have, I think I have like two others, and that's like it. How sad is that? We're going to try and remedy that. So if you know of anything, help a sister out. All right, and then the last prompt for this sour team before we move on to the next team is Sucker for You, a book with a grumpy character. And so I'm going to go with When Grumpy Met Sunshine by Charlotte Stein. And this is a grumpy sunshine romance as far as I can tell. It almost seems a roommate-y situation, but I'm not sure. So we have a grumpy ex-footballer named Alfie who gets badgered into selling his memoir. He knows he's never going to be able to write it. He hates revealing a single thing about himself, is allergic to most emotions, and can't imagine doing a good job of putting pen to paper. And so in walks curvy, cheery, cute as heck ghostwriter Mabel Williker. This is not what I was expecting. So we have, he's trying to write a story and he's like, I can't do it. It's not going to be any good. And so they give him a ghostwriter. And I guess as she's working on the project, they start to fall for each other. So it says they banter and bicker their way to writing his life story. Both of them sure they'll never be anything other than at odds. But after their business arrangement is mistaken for a budding romance, the pair have to pretend to be an item for a public who's ravenous for more of this Cinderella story. Oh, even better. So they're like, no, we don't like each other. And then for some reason, I guess they're out and about and people are like, oh my God, look, they're so into each other. It has a couple of things that I really like. I love the grumpy sunshine trope, and I also love fake dating. So I'm gonna have a good time with that one for sure. All right, let's move on to the sweet team prompts. The first one is Me Espresso, which is a book talk or booktube suggestion. This one I've seen a lot on booktube. I'm actually not super active on book talk yet. Someday I will. I have plans to be more on social media outside of YouTube, but your girl struggles. Anyway, I don't know. Booktube has been sharing this and I really wanted it, so I grabbed it and I'm so glad to have an excuse to read it. And that is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. This is a silly, self-aware, fun, trope-filled good time. I believe it's also supposed to be steamy, and look at that cover art. Gorgeous. So I'm really excited for this one. As far as I'm aware, we have our main character, Cinnamon, who is a spice trader, and she has her quiet life, which gets turned upside down when she ends up on a quest with a fiery demon. And then it's supposed to be a quirky rom-com, so yes, fun times. And it is sweet and steamy and apparently funny as hell. All she wanted to do was live her life in peace, maybe get a cat, expand the family spice farm. Really, anything that didn't involve going on an adventure where an orc might rip her face off. But they say the goddess has favorites, and if so, Sin is clearly not one of them. After Sin, in a wine-drunk stupor, saves the demon Fallon, he reveals that all he really wants to do is kill an evil witch enslaving his people. And who can blame him? But now he's dragging Cinnamon along for the ride, whether she likes it or not. On the bright side, at least he keeps burning off his shirt. That's so silly. And I am here for it. The next prompt on the sweet team is Double Dip, reading from an author you love. This one's good, but I'm not 100% sure about this book in particular because I really loved the adult romance trilogy by this author that also features curvy girls, and this one is a YA version. So you may know what I'm talking about, but if not, I'm gonna be going with Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert, who did the Brown Sisters trilogy, which was Get a Life, Chloe Brown, Act Your Age, Eve Brown, and something Take a Hint, Danny Brown. Friggin' loved all of them. Absolutely amazing. I don't love YA as much, but I also don't hate it. I'm always talking about how like, oh, I'm so tired of YA, and then I end up buying and reading them all the time. So like I don't hate it as much as I act. But I've heard mixed reviews on this one, so I'm a little scared. So a lot of people who loved the Brown Sisters trilogy didn't enjoy this as much, but hopefully I will. It seems cute. I think it's supposed to be an enemies to lovers scenario. So we have Bradley is pretty much perfect. He's a star football player, manages his OCD well enough, and comes out on top in all his classes, except the ones he shares with Celine. They used to be best friends. Oh, another second chance. I didn't know that. Until Brad decided he was too cool for conspiracy theory obsessed Celine and literally abandoned her for the popular kids table. At least that's how Celine sees it. These days, Brad hates her guts, and the feeling is mutual. So when Celine signs up for a 2-part survival course in the woods, she definitely doesn't expect to find Brad right beside her. Forced to work together for the chance to win the grand prize, Celine and Bradley must trudge through not just mud and dirt, but their messy past. As this adventure brings them closer, they start to remember all the good parts of their history. But has too much time passed or just enough to spark a whole new kind of relationship? Okay, yeah, I'm here for it. I like it. I do love me a not even enemies. Most of the books that we call enemies to lovers are not actual enemies, but you know, that kind of not necessarily friends, not happy, don't want anything to do with the other person, and then for some reason they're stuck together and they realize that, hey, that person's not that bad. So I'm excited for that. And I love me some Talia Hibbert, so hopefully she doesn't let me down. Fingers crossed. All right. For our next sweet team prompt, we have Sweet Like Cinnamon, which is a story that features a plus size man. So for this one, I'm going to go with Shipwrecked by Olivia Dade or Dade. I'm not sure how her last name is pronounced. As you can see, we got a big boy on the cover, and I've had this on my shelf for a little while and wanted to read it because I've read other stuff from her before and really liked it. This one says, Maria's one night stand, the thick-thighed, sexy Viking of a man she left without a word or a note, just reappeared. Apparently, Peter's her Shirley God's the Gate co-star, and they're about to spend the next 6 years filming on a desolate Irish island together. Holy cannoli. Imagine thinking that you just had a one-night stand with somebody and then you were forced to work with them for the next 6 years in a sort of secluded location. Jeez. Okay. She still wants him, but he now wants nothing to do with her. Peter knows this role could finally transform him from a forgettable character actor into a leading man. He also knows a failed relationship Maria could poison the set, and he won't sabotage his career for a woman who's already walked away from him. Given time, maybe they can be cooperative colleagues or friends, possibly even best friends, but not lovers, not again, no matter how much he aches for her. For years, they don't touch off camera, but on their last night of filming, their mutual restraint finally shatters and all their pent-up desire explodes into renewed passion. Too bad they still don't have a future together, since Peter's going back to Hollywood and Maria's returning to her native Sweden. She thinks she needs more than he can give her, but he's determined to change her mind, and he's spent the last 6 years waiting, watching, and wanting. His shipwrecked Swede doesn't stand a chance. And apparently it's witty, steaming, and achingly tender. Anyway, on to the last prompt. How Sweet, a book with a cute cover. And I'm going to be honest with you, I struggled with this one. I feel like a lot of the covers that we've already gone through kind of have that cute cover vibe. So I was looking for something a little bit different and I wasn't really able to find that. So I went with The Makeup Test by Jenny L. Howe. And I don't know, I thought it was kind of cute, the design where they're both kind of like writing on the board and then they're looking at each other and there's some like cute elements in front. It's not as cute as I would like for this kind of prompt, but I think it works, so we're gonna go with it. And this one says that Allison loves to win. After acing every academic challenge she's come up against, she's finally been accepted into her dream PhD program, studying medieval literature under a professor she's admired for years. Sure, grad school isn't easy, the classes are intense, her best friend is drifting away, and her students would rather pull all-nighters than discuss The Knight's Tale, but she's got this. Until she discovers her ex-boyfriend has also been accepted. He might be the only person who loves winning more than she does, and when they're both assigned to TA for the same professor, the game is on. So, yeah. I'm here for that. It's interesting that it's an ex-boyfriend. Apparently, I picked a lot of second chance sort of situations. Didn't realize that. So it says, what starts as a personal battle of wits and lit turns into an all-out war when their professor announces a career-changing research trip opportunity with one spot to fill. Competing with Colin is as natural as breathing, and after he shattered her heart 2 years ago, Allison refuses to let him come out on top. But when a family emergency and a late-night road trip plus a very sexy game of Scrabble throws them together for a weekend, she starts to wonder if they could be stronger on the same team. And if they fall for each other all over again, Allison will have to choose between a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and what could be a twice-in-a-lifetime love. So yeah, that's cute. And those are my main reads for the August plus size readathon. I'm super excited to be participating in this. I have a bunch of other books that I'm also going to be dabbling in through the month because I read a lot. Which I should mention, if you're only participating in one group or you're not able to read as much as I am, that is totally okay. I feel bad a lot of the times when I'm like saying all of these books that I plan on reading, which is like super unobtainable for a normal person. I'm not normal. So I read a lot. It's not normal, okay? But yeah, I am super excited to be a part of this. I do want to say a big thank you to Julie for leaving that comment on my video and letting me know about this. I think it's really cool and I hope to participate moving forward. I want to read more books with plus size characters intentionally. I tend to do it without thinking about it and it's not enough. So That's going to change thanks to you. So thanks for being awesome and hosting this. Thanks everybody for watching. Let me know if you've read any of these or if you are participating. What are you going to be reading for your prompts? That would be great. Otherwise, happy reading, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, bye!